Wonderful then. As a part of our previous class, we understood how to work in Lakehouse and create the Lakehouse and create the delta tables. Now let us move forward with our journey to learn more about the Microsoft Fabric. Okay. Let us say we have the data in the one lake now. All of you have created a one lake. You have created a workspace. You have created a lakehouse, and you explored about what is a delta lake, what is the delta table. Now the data is there in the one lake. Vinith, what will you do with that data?
Usually look into the data and then apply some transformation, and I will get some insights from that data and then deliver it to the businesses that requires the data.
Okay. You look into that data and deliver it to the required businesses. That is what you are saying.
By refining it or
Very good. Parveen, what do you do with that data in the one lake?
Yeah, same. So first I will read the data, how the data is actually the data is saying, conveying like that. First I will look into the data. After that, we'll do the analysis based on the requirements. After that, I will process the data.
Got you. Wonderful. Both of you are making so much of sense. Okay. So once we have a data in the one lake, we'll do multiple things with that. Okay. But the data in the one lake need to be moved somewhere, right? As Vinith was saying, we'll take the data and we'll send it somewhere. And as Parveen was saying, we need to do something with the data. I think I remember even Vinith saying we have to refine the data. Okay. So we need to move the data from one lake to some other places, or you also need to transform the data which is there in the one lake. You have to do that, right? You have to move the data, you have to transform the data. Yeah. Shabna?
Yes.
Okay. So assuming that we have a one lake, okay, we have to move the data, transform the data, okay, and load it into some other place. In this case, I am talking about the data warehouse. Now that we do that, how will you move the data or transform the data? How will you do that? Malini?
By applying filters.
You apply filters, okay. Vinith, any thoughts?
through pipelines.
Pipelines will have water flowing through pipelines. Do you think data will flow through pipelines?
As we have heard, only water have streams, and we have heard data streams also. So data
Whoa.
pipeline.
See, Shabna, he must be kidding, right? He's saying pipelines. Absolutely right. Okay.
Right.
The way we have pipelines in our building to get the water from one place to another place, we also have a pipelines in data. Okay. But the question here is, how will you move or transform the data? That is my question. How will you transform or move the data? In what ways?
I know through pipeline, sir. That answer already Vinith said. So
You are stuck with pipelines. All of you guys are stuck with pipelines. See, Shabna,
yes.
again, Parveen is also saying about pipelines, Shabna. What is happening, Shabna, here? Everybody is
here
talking about
the
pipelines.
Everyone knows about the pipeline, but actually they don't know what happened inside that.
Okay, we'll figure it out. So I'm talking either you can do it manually or
okay.
in an automated fashion, right? Either you can move manually or in an automated fashion. Okay. But when we are dealing with lot of data, it doesn't make sense to do it manually, right? You have to automate the whole process of moving or transforming and all those things. Yes. So now that we understood, we need to automate the whole process of moving the data, transforming the data. How do we automate? What helps in automating this whole process? Malini.
Schedulers.
Schedulers, okay.
APIs.
APIs, okay. Okay, I'm looking for a very simple, straightforward answer.
They're using tools.
Absolutely. So, using tools. Wow. See, Shabna is answering really well now. We automate the whole process of movement of data and also transformation of the data by using tools. Okay. And there are so many tools in the market which can do that. But our focus is on data factory, which is a part of Microsoft Fabric. By the way, what is factory? Anyone?
Where manufacturing process happens.
Happens where the products are sent from one place to another place, where the raw material is converted into final product by going through different processes. Right? That is a factory. Now, what is data factory, Vinith, according to you?
Factory, by going that analogy, where raw data is transformed and it gets converted into a kind of inlet data for something.
Okay. What do you think, Malini? What is data factory?
Yeah, like you said, the raw data has been refined for analysis and for the deriving insights.
Okay. So, at a high level, data factory is one of the module within the fabric. Anyway, I'm going to show that. So, data factory is one of the module, or we can also say a cloud-based ETL tool in Microsoft Fabric, which will help us to ingest the data, prepare the data, transform the data. In a way, it is a platform or a tool, ETL-based tool, to automate the process of ingestion, preparation, and transforming of the data. Okay, make sense? Any questions here, Parveen? It is a cloud-based ETL tool, which is a part of the fabric that helps in ingestion, preparation, and transforming the data. So all these processes are automated as a part of the data factory. So that is the reason we are calling it is giving us a modern data integration experience, like a modern. Okay, wonderful then. So we understood what is data factory. Now data factory is a part of the fabric. Okay, so tomorrow, let us say on the weekend, when Malini and Parveen go to buy some clothes in the mall, if somebody look at this fabric, if they say that, then Malini and Parveen will say, where is the fabric? Where is the data factory? Where is the data? Show me. Like that they will ask, right?
Actually, it is happening.
Okay. It is good. Awesome then. You guys are so involved in that. Okay. So, data factory is one of the module within the fabric. Okay. We understood data factory is a cloud-based ETL tool to automate ingestion, preparation, transformation of the data. Okay. Make sense? Everybody understood this? Now that we
Yes.
understood that, let us understand bit more of data factory. In data factory, we have 4 major steps. What are those major steps, Shabna?
First, ingest, load, transform.
Okay, wonderful. Very well tried. Let us look at what are those major steps. Okay. So, the first thing is, whenever we are talking about the data factory, we already understood the different steps are there. When we bring together those steps, they are called as the workflows also. And what happens is, those steps will make the data factory work like a well-oiled machine. What are these? First step is connect and collect. Second step is transform and enrich. The third one is publish. What is the fourth one? Can anybody guess what is the fourth one?
Load the
Load.
data.
Okay.
So monitor.
Who said monitor?
Muskan.
Muskan said monitor. Okay, today. Okay, you are absolutely right. Okay, so it is monitor. These are the 4 important steps in data factory. Let us understand them one by one. Shall we?
Yes, yes, sir.
Yes.
Let us do that. Now, what is connect and collect? Anyone? It is there in the words itself. Connect and collect.
Connect with different data sources and collect the data.
As what happens is when you are talking about the companies or enterprises or businesses, okay, so they have different types of sources because no Amazon or a Google or a Bank of America or anything, Allstate or Capital Group of Company, any companies, okay, they tend to have different sources or different types of data. Okay, so they're located in a disparate sources. I mean, different sources. It can be on the premises, it can be in the cloud, it can be structured, it can be semi-structured, it can be unstructured, and the data is not produced at the same interval, right? There are, when we talk about the data, it is not simple and straightforward. There are so many dimensions to that, right? So when we have that, it is very, very important for us to first connect to all the required sources of data and processing. Connecting is also important because let us say we have in a data factory, okay, and you had Oracle source, okay. The moment goes and says, hey, data factory, please connect to the Oracle, right? Does it happen currently? It may happen in the future, but does it happen correctly, Vinit?
Yes.
That is the reason I'm kind of being cautious here. Okay, I am telling you we have to connect to that. And also, let us say you may have some 10 sources. It is not required for you to connect to all the 10 sources. You have to choose and connect to the sources which are required for you to pull the data, right? So that is
Okay.
important. Okay, so you may have to connect to the software as a services applications, okay, and you may have to connect to the databases. You may have to connect to the files, and you may have to connect to the FTP web services. FTP is file transfer protocol web services. Okay, so these are the important categories to which you have to connect. Tuminal, what will you do after connecting?
Collect the data from that
Collect the
sources.
data. Awesome. The next step is to move the data as needed to a centralized location. That is nothing but a collection. So the same thing, collection is also same. To move the data to the subsequent centralized location is also same. If data factory was not there, then you have to move the data from one place to another place. In order to make that happen, you have to build the custom data movement components and write the custom services to integrate these data sources and processing. Basically, you have to manually code that, manually make that happen. With the data factory, that model is already available for you within the data factory to connect and collect. So, if I ask you a question, Parvin, without data factory, is it to build the custom data movement components? Is it easy?
No, sir.
It is not at all easy. Okay, it will take a lot of effort. Okay, so it is expensive and hard to integrate and maintain such systems. Okay, and in addition, they may not have a enterprise grade, means the quality at which the data can be at organization level. They may not have a enterprise grade monitoring alerting. Okay, they may not have that. First of all, building that will be very time consuming. The second thing is it also may not have the enterprise grade of monitoring and alerting. Okay, so that is the thing. Okay, so now by using the data factory, we can connect and collect the data seamlessly. Okay, for example, there is something called copy activity, which we'll discuss later, which will allow us to create a data pipeline to move the data from on-premises and cloud source data sources to the centralized data store. Okay. There is already some modules. There are already some inbuilt APIs within the data factory to connect and collect the data. It's very simple, right? It is complex or it is not complex?
Sir, it's easy now.
It is easy now. Okay, let me take a credit. I made it very easy for you guys. Okay.
Yes.
Or you have made it easy because we are discussing. Now we understood connect and collect, and there are different examples. Okay. So we can collect the data in Azure Data Lake Store and transform the data later in the Fabric. Okay. And also we can collect the data in Azure Blob Storage and transform by using a Spark. You can do multiple things. So basically, you are connecting to the different source and collecting the data. That's what I'm trying to say. So how many steps are there? Connect and collect?
4.
Which are those?
Connect and collect, transform, publish and monitor.
Transform and enrich. Okay. Now that we understood the connect and collect, what is the next step, Malini?
Transform and enrich.
Transform and enrich. Okay. So what is the transformation? I mean, this transformation is coming again and again. What is the transformation, Malini?
Refining the data with desired.
Absolutely. Okay. So refining the data. Okay. And one more way of saying transformation is nothing but converting the data from one format or structure to another format or structure. Such a simple, straightforward way of looking what is transformation. Right, Parveen? All I'm saying is, as a part of the transformation, you take the data, that data from one format to another format or one structure to another structure. Isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Such a simple thing, right?
Yeah.
That is transformation. And what you said is also absolutely right, Malini. Okay. So what happens is, one of the simple example is, which we already discussed, converting the date format from Indian date format to US date format. Okay. Indian, we always say date, then month, then year. Okay. In US, it is month, then date, then year. So this is one very simple transformation. Okay. And also converting the CSV into XML. That is also one transformation. Now, as a part of the data project, why do we really need to do the transformation, Shabna?
For deriving the insights for.
That is also right. Okay. But just to derive the insights, we'll go on doing the transformation, is it? Any thoughts from anyone else? Why do we transform?
It is a business requirement, sir.
Business requirement. Okay. Yeah. So what both of you are saying is absolutely right. But if you really drill down further, one layer down, okay, you transform the data to make it compatible with the other data. So you may have source 1, source 2, source 3. You decide one format. Maybe we'll have a data in one format. Okay. So S1 format, and you'll convert these two data into this format. Make it compatible with the other data. Okay. And move it to another system. So, like let us say you have a file, right? But the other system is a database. Okay. It will not hold the file. It will hold the data. That is why you may have to transform the data. Okay. Join it with other data. For example, now what you are doing is there is a first name, there is a last name. Okay. In order to populate this, what we want is first name and last name. Okay. So we'll join it with other data. Okay. Aggregate the information in the data. If you want to calculate the average salary of a department, we have to aggregate the data from the department and get the average salary of the department. Aggregate the information. Okay. These are some of the important reasons why we transform the data. And there again, simple and straightforward. Any questions here?
No, sir.
No question. So we understood transformation. Okay. Transformation, we all of us understood. What is this enriching data, Parveen?
Maybe refining the data, sir.
No, how can we use the same definition for both? I said refining is transformation.
Enriching the data means improve the quality of the data.
Very good. What you are saying is absolutely right. So, data enrichment means we are in the enrichment process, we're enhancing the data, we are refining the data, or we are improving the data. Okay. I was trying to divert your attention. Even we can also say refining, but refining on top of the transformation. Okay. That is what is enrichment. You take a data which is already transformed, you further enhance the data, you further improve the data. That is what is enrichment of the data. Any example for this?
Times blank values will be there, null values will be there, right? So that should not be there.
Yeah, I mean, that can be considered as a part of the transformation.
Okay, that also.
Yeah. One of the very, very important example for the enrichment, which I always take is, let us say you have applied for a credit card, Parveen. What are the different things they ask for?
The address proof, ID proof, salary, slips.
Correct. Okay. So all those things they will ask for, and that is a data. That data they would have put it in a proper format and all those things. Okay. Will giving the credit card only will depend on the data what they collect it from only you. They will also do some background verification, validation of the data and all those things, right?
Credit score.
Credit score, right? CIBIL score here, credit score there. So now the data collected from you directly may be put into the proper format. That is a transformation. But in order to give a credit card, they'll also consider the background verification data. Whether background verified is proper, yes or no. What is the total credit score in India? Is it for 900, Vinith? For
900.
900, right? Okay.
Yes.
So for 900, how much credit score a person has? Okay. So
Yes, sir.
these two data is also considered to give a credit card, along with the data which is already collected and transformed in while collecting the data from you. So like this, there may be multiple occasions you may have to enrich the data to aid in the decisions. Okay. This is one of the best example for the enrichment. Okay. Now that we understood the transforming and enriching, what is the next one?
Sir, I have a question here.
Yeah, please go ahead.
By the previous example, we have data from customer. We have data from multiple organizations like civil and background checking organizations. So to enrich the data, like the data is in table form. So to enrich the data, so we can add multiple columns in that table also in the process of enriching the data.
Yeah. See, what is enrichment of the data?
On top of the transform layer, we are refining the data, transform data.
Refining, and what are the other couple of terminologies which we use?
Enhancing.
Enhancing. One more terminology. Enrichment means we three terms. Okay.
Quality of data.
Yeah, quality of the data is the outcome. Okay. I use three verbs to be very specific. Enhance, refine, and one more term.
Improve.
Improve the data. Okay. These three things are done as a part of the enrichment, right? Right, Vinith?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, what you are getting into is how are we doing it? Are you able to?
Yes, sir. I'm with you,
So
sir.
what we are doing as a part of the enrichment is improving the data, enhancing the data, or refining the data. Okay. So how it is done? Yes, they may add one more column for that, or they may capture in a different way. If it is a JSON file, in a different JSON. Basically, yeah, one of the way is adding couple of more columns. Let us say along with that, they may had a behavioral data also, right? They may had a purchasing pattern data also. Even though it is
Yes.
included as a part of the CIBIL score or a credit score, they may get that data from somewhere. You are getting me, right? So
Yes, sir.
what we have to understand is what is enrichment? How it is done? Yeah, it can be done in multiple ways. Okay, you got my point?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Okay. So once we do the enrichment, we have to publish. What is publishing the data, Malin?
Making it globally acceptable for all other tools.
Almost there. So publishing to globally acceptable within the company for the guys who are requiring the data. Okay. Once we connect and collect, transform and enrich, why are we doing that? Connecting and collecting and transforming and enriching. Why are we, what, for what reason we are doing it? Shabna, why are we doing it? So that people use it.
Use.
Yes, people can use it. Okay. So publishing of the data is nothing but releasing the data in a form for use or reuse by the others. Okay. So it can be a tool, it can be a platform, it can be the users. As a part of the publishing, we are releasing the data, research data or transform data in a way that can be used or reused by the end users. Okay, that's what we are doing as a part of the. So once you refine the raw data, transform and enrich the raw data into a business ready. Look at this word, business ready form. We'll load it into the analytics engine like a Fabric data warehouse. This is nothing but loading that into a publishing the data, or Azure SQL database, or Cosmos DB. So that is nothing but a publishing of the data. Okay, publishing of the. It's very clear, right? I mean, publishing, you may see it as a loaded word, but publishing is nothing but making the data transformed and enriched data available to the end users, okay, or the tools which are want the transformed and enriched data to be consumed. Okay, simple, right? Parveen, simple, right?
The data will be ready to use for the downstreams, like
Absolutely. One more way of putting it. So the same thing which is I already told. The next one, once we publish the data, we also have to, as Muskan said, we have to monitor the data. What is monitoring of the data? Shabna, what is monitoring of the data? What is monitor? Actually,
After
instead of saying,
releasing the data, we have to check whether some issues happened. So we have to monitor.
Okay. So as our Vinit said, there are pipelines, not water pipelines. We are talking about the data pipelines, because all of you guys are going to be the data plumbers. Am I right?
Kind of.
Is the terminology make you guys very listen? Okay. So in sometimes we are the guys who are working in a data engineering are also called as the data plumbers. The way the plumbers fix the water pipelines, we create and fix the data pipelines. That is the reason we call as a data plumbers. Okay. Pipeline is created. What we do is we have to observe that pipeline and keep checking the progress of or also quality of the data over a time, keeping it under the systematic review. Okay. So it is a generic monitoring. Monitoring involves observing and checking the progress or quality of something over a period of time, keeping it under the systematic review. Okay. So in terms of data, what we are doing is we are observing the data moment, or we are observing the progress of the data moment, and also quality of the data moved from one place to another place over a period of time, so that we always ensure that need to be delivered to a particular system, it is properly happening, and also the quality of the data is also correct. After we build and also deploy the data pipelines, we have to monitor continuously to ensure if there is a business value from the refined data by tracking the success and failure rates. That is what is monitor is. So beautiful thing is Data Factory has a built-in support for pipeline monitoring through some of the thing called Azure Monitor. Okay, and also help panels on the Azure portal to monitor the data pipelines. There is a built-in support within the Data Factory to monitor because enterprises data pipelines need to be monitored. Okay, so we can utilize the monitoring tools to get the insights about the whether the things are happening properly or not, the data is properly delivered or not. Okay, and we can also get the alerts in case something happens in the pipeline. Okay, we can also leverage something called PowerShell and APIs for monitoring, automated monitoring in the Data Factory. Until unless you are a very advanced developer, you will not use the PowerShell or APIs. You'll be using the dashboards only to monitor. Okay, make sense? Make sense? Any questions here? So we discussed about the 4 important steps. Which are those steps, Malini?
Collect and connect, transform and enrich, publish and monitor.
Awesome. Okay. Awesome. Any doubts here? Any clarifications here from anyone? That's all for now. Like and subscribe and turn on notifications for future videos. Thank you.